everyone, we're about to start. If anyone would like their site reviewed, please bring up your card right now. You can also bring it during the session. And whomever we don't get to, we will be doing follow-up emails, and we can do it privately after as well. So it is 11 o'clock, so we're going to get started. My name's Adam Riemer. I'm here with Scott Polk and with Roger Montti. Each of us have been around for a long time. Clearly, I look the best out of the two of them. But at the same time, we all have different specialties within SEO and monetization. My big strategy is content as well as monetization. Scott is a tech SEO, and Roger focuses heavily on link acquisition strategies. So the way this session is going to work is that we're going to do a quick intro for each of ourselves. Then we're each going to take 3 minutes on each of the sites submitted. Once the 3 minutes they're up, I'm going to interrupt you guys. You should interrupt me too if I go over 3 minutes. And then we're going to move on to the next website. If we don't get to your site in time, then we will be doing follow-ups after, and we can either do one-on-ones, or if more than one of us is available, we can do it then as well. Okay? So my name's Adam Riemer. I'm from Washington, D.C. I run an affiliate management firm. I've also been a blogger since the early to mid-2000s, and I have an SEO firm as well. Scott?
My name's Scott Polk. I've been doing SEO now for about 18 years or so. I specialize in technical SEO, strategy, and implementation for a lot of clients. We work with anybody from small mom and pop, say local sites, all the way up to Fortune 50 companies.
Hi, my name is Roger Montti. I started around 1999 learning how to do everything related to HTML, coding, JavaScript, even Flash. And I've consulted for companies like Salesforce.com, and but also for smaller e-commerce businesses and affiliates, and helping sites get unbanned and out of penalties, things like that. I'm known primarily for link development, but I also do a wide range of anything related to SEO.
Great, so thank you all coming. This is the first session of Affiliate Summit, so we're really excited. Y'all are up, you're here, you have your badges, and you're prepared. And so Affiliate Summit just wanted us to remind you guys a few things. There's handouts for each of you to fill out when you're done. If you enjoyed the session, you're allowed to leave feedback, hopefully 5 stars if you like it. And if you could please hand them to the nice people at the back of the room, they'll be able to take them from you. And let's get started. Okay, you guys, so our very first site is absolutemed.com. Whose site is this? Hi, thank you. So what are you hoping to get from this session? Okay, so you'd like to become an affiliate and you'd like to find out why your site isn't ranking as much anymore.
It was ranking super high before Penguin came around.
We saw that. You have 1,300 links and everything else.
Yeah, so it went from here to here.
Okay, great. So this first one, he wants to know how to incorporate affiliate links into his website, as well as why he may have been penalized and hit by the search engines. Scott or Roger, who'd like to start?
So you know when you were actually hit? And I'm just trying to see if it lines up with the tools I can see.
2012. It was like whenever the Penguin changed.
So like around March 2012 maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. And what's, who, not who as in name them, but were you having, did someone do SEO for you guys? Were you doing it internally? Okay. And they were building a bunch of links, I would assume. Yeah. Okay. So now that we've kind of just, let's just say, go down that road, your links are killing you. You're never going to rank again until those links are gone. Have you gone through a process of trying to have those removed or disavowed?
Yeah, there's a lot of links. So, but here's the process. You're saying even though they're not being utilized, they're still being
Well, what do you mean by being utilized?
I mean, we don't drive any traffic.
Doesn't matter. If they link to your website and that goes to a page that exists, then they're part of what's called your link graph. It's part of what's called your link graph or your link profile, which means that they are counting or uncounting or hurting you or helping you no matter what. Doesn't matter if anybody ever uses them or not. If Google's found them, they exist.
Is there like a tool or something that
Yeah, you would need basically as far as a tool, yeah, I mean, you can run a tool and get a list of backlinks. Google will give you some of those well in Search Console. But that being said, what you really need is probably a link audit. And whether that's something you undertake yourself, and it's very possible you can do it yourself as well, that's not a problem. But you need a link audit, you need to go through every single link you can find. Now, even with the best subscription models I've got, we're talking thousands of dollars a month type subscriptions to be able to pull from data sources, I can still only find about anywhere, maybe at best 60, 65% of the links that are known to Google. And Google will not show you all of them. So if the best thing to do is to go back to your prior SEO, and hopefully they were giving you reports of what they were doing for you. If they weren't, well, that's just bad because that's not ethical. Then go through and just remove every one of them. And what I mean by remove is you can either go through a process. What Google wants you to do is go through a process of contacting those domains and trying to have them removed. And they want you to show your work kind of thing. But, at minimal, you need to disavow them. Well,
Repeat the question.
okay, so you're asking whether or not it's just better to start from scratch on your domain, right? If your domain has been burned to the ground, dead, then yes. But links generally aren't going to be that. If you just got filtered out by Penguin, you don't have any manual actions or anything like that, then no, I probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I did a parcel search of a phrase from the front page, and it ranks for that. So you're not booted out of the index. It may be that you're just ranking where you're supposed to rank according to the links that you have, and that's pretty common. So what you would need is to do what Scott said, get rid of the bad links, because the way Google and presumably Bing judge links or judge whether somebody is spamming is they could tell by the kind of links you have that you have an actual intent to spam, and then you will be untrusted. So until you get rid of those, you continue to be untrusted. But at the same time, while you're doing that, start to build up high quality links that'll put you into a more trusted group, and then you'll start to rank better for your keyword phrases.
Correct. And if you were filtered by Penguin,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you're filtered by Penguin, even though you're building new links, which is something you should be doing, until that is released, you're not going to see growth from that. So don't get discouraged. Don't think it's not working, because it's been 17 months now since Penguin ran, and we're waiting for Penguin to run again, and that's called penguitory or purgatory, basically. You're going to get stuck in that. If that's what filtered you out, you haven't been released yet, you're going to be stuck in that until that part of the algorithm reruns, and that's just life.
Yeah, I was solicited by somebody who hired a company, and they did really bad work for them, and they started losing all their traffic. And I told them, I couldn't take them on because I had enough, too much work as it is. But he begged me just to take a look. So I took a look, and I realized, well, I could do this, And he had been, received a penalty, and so he did precisely what Scott recommended, removed those links. And then I did a campaign for him, getting a modest amount of links day after day, month after month. But not, and you don't need a ton, but just a steady amount of good high quality links. And now he ranks across a wide range of phrases and just totally kicking his competitors' butt on every phrase. And there's like thousands of phrases that he's ranking well on. And so there's hope for you. Yeah, I don't think you need to burn this domain, because I don't think it's burned.
Okay, we're at 3. So sorry to interrupt everyone. We always run into trouble with running over. I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach in them. Yes, you need to disavow and get rid of some of those links. You can use the tool that I use for links. I combine Majestic SEO with Search Console, and I also pull one through SEMrush, which is a tool I believe all of us use. But you have an over-optimization issue too. If you look, all of your titles are stuffed full of keywords well past the actual pixel or character limit. You also have a lack of content. I'm on a product page here right now, and unfortunately, there's no actual content here. You just have some bullet points. Write about what this product can be used for, how it can be used, why is it beneficial, why should Google show you above the others, who is this good for, who is it not good for. You also have an issue in that you've stuffed your drop-downs in some cases. So here you have the word equipment, equipment, equipment. So if you have your code set up properly, where like this was maybe an H2 tag, underneath, if you would just write used medical, hospital medical, actually you don't even need medical equipment there. So this would be H2, medical equipment. Directly below that, you just use the next word as an H3, and that keyword will actually pass through to the others and pass it into that category for you. So that's something important. You've over-optimized. You also need to fix your code. On your homepage, for example, you do not have an H1 tag, which is bad, but you have 17 occurrences of H2 tags, and you're not using code properly. So you want to make sure it's as, you guys make sure I don't run over too. And so just, you want to make sure, yeah, because I do, I ramble. But make sure that everything's set to proper standards and follows the right paths. Think of your H tags as the chapters in a book. The title of the book is your H1. Your main chapters are your H2s. Any sub-chapters that are directly relevant to that are H3s. And you can go down in order. You have to, but you can't skip an H2 to H3. Chances are with this, you don't even need an H2, just the H1. And then you can use font sizes instead of H2 tags inside your CSS for the next header sections, okay? So try to get rid of all the spammy stuff on your site. And you also have no follow internal links. That's very, very bad on your site. Unless it's to like a login page or something that you want blocked, you don't want to tell Google, don't index this page on my site. They're like, wait, why does he not want us to see his content? Something funny's here. It's just a personal preference, but you don't want to no follow your own internal links. And I think that takes me to the 3 minutes too. Great. Do you have any last questions? We have 1 minute. Okay, great. Glad we could help you. Okay. And by the way, if anyone has questions about tools or different things they can use, feel free to ask us before, after, during, or whatever, and we could jump in and help with that too. Our next site is kiddingaroundgreenville.com. Whose site is that? Hi, how are you? What are you hoping to get from the session? Okay, so the question is, how can we hopefully get her to rank better, as well as alternatives for monetization? Perfect. Scott or Roger, would you like to start?
What type of, have you been doing any SEO at all, or have you just been actually just kind of throwing the content out there?
I've been doing some, but it hasn't
Okay.
been kind of structured. I mean, my content's pretty good overall, and there's a lot of social shares. And I do try to use keywords. I can use that. I just started doing some more research.
Okay. On your social shares, how are you that just happening naturally, or are you guys doing promotion? I mean, are you putting, I guess what I'm asking is, are you putting any paid activities behind any of what you have so far? Or is it just all kind of just you? Okay.
So if you want, I can jump in.
Yeah, please.
Well,
just
okay.
Go ahead, Roger.
All right. One way, one thing that works really well is thinking about the user experience. When you look at the page, look at it as a site visitor would, and say, all right, what's the first thing they see? What I see is about, advertise, subscribe, Studio 62, submit an event. But somebody who's coming there is coming for activities for their families, right? So you have to actually go past the banner, and then to get to the tiny little things to do, kids eat free, travel, July. Flip that around, because that's your most important content. And everything you do, the best SEO today is thinking about your user and putting things first like that. Google has algorithms that look at things like this, and they know there's like a quality ratings guideline, and that discusses the type of pages they want to rank. So the focus on that is user experience. So when you look at it with the eyes of user experience, you flip that around, and then you look at the rest of the page, you got gold sponsors. What does that mean to a parent who, you know, is looking for something to do? Nothing. So if you look at it as a user experience issue, you're going to want to push that gold sponsor thing, best summer ever, whatever that is, down or put it somewhere else, make it smaller, and put things that people want to see front and center and get them into your site and discovering and digging around and getting to all that content. Google, the search engine, will do the same thing too. It'll help your SEO.
Do you mind if I jump in next?
No, go for it.
You'll have a few more minutes, Scott?
Yeah.
Okay, you have so much opportunity to make money with this, which is awesome. First, I would highly recommend, you have your Facebook sharing and following me, but it's taking us off of your site to another site. It's hard enough to get someone to your site. You can have this happen in a separate box, a little window that opens up and then closes. You don't want to take people off of your site where they can be distracted and go interact with a lot of other people. The next thing I noticed is your light box. That's the email pop-up window that offers people to opt in. It doesn't have a value statement there. It says join over 6,000 visitors, or it has another. Why not tell them, so I think you had one about an ebook or something. Why not give get exclusive deals, discounts to local Greenville area things. Find this, give them some sort of value proposition and add in the little we will never spam you type of link below. Make sure that opens in a small one. You don't want to take them to a big scary page of legal jargon. So give them a reason to actually give you their email address. And at the bottom of your post, that combined with a newsletter sign up at the bottom of each post, because you write a lot, which is very good. But at the bottom of the post, if they make it down there, they're hooked, they liked your content, they're more likely to opt in there. Another thing is there's a tool that I use called Mouseflow, and it is amazing. And what it's going to do, if your sponsors say, no, I want to be at the top of this page, I want to be at the top of this page. If you install Mouseflow and show the engagement on the banners at the top of the page versus the bottom, they're going to see, yes, less people will see it at the bottom, but more people will engage with it. And that's going to make you more valuable for them, knowing where people interact and engage. In Google Analytics, you can actually see a click map as well, which will show who's clicking where, and you can test that. But Mouseflow gives you live video recordings and tons of amazing data. For your actual posts, don't forget to cut me off, guys. For your actual posts, you have lots of specific Greenville types of things. There's a lot of affiliate programs you can use here. You have excursions, you have ticket sales, you have event sales, you have Groupon, has lots of local restaurants. There's tons of options you can monetize through affiliate there. If you want to sell other space on your Facebook share, because you do tend to get, it looks like a lot of social sharing, on your Twitter share icon, for example, after somebody's clicked and shared, the plugin will let you say, also follow this. So I'm not sure where Greenville is, but it looked like you reviewed Dollywood, so if that's in Greenville, what you can do is contact Dollywood and be like, my Twitter sharing for my blog gets maybe 5,000 shares a month. I'm just making numbers up. You can instead say, don't forget to follow at Dollywood, and you can sell that as space too and monetize that. On your newsletter, after somebody opts in, what happens after they've opted in? Do they land on a page? Does there a redirect that takes a few seconds? All of those places you can put your CPM ads instead of just in that top of the post, which Roger had said Google actually will penalize you for. You have a ton of ways, and I would love to meet with you at some point during the show and walk through, because you specifically, I've worked with a lot of local bloggers, and I'm able to help you, because I've been through this road over 1,000 times. But those are all different things you can do. Scott.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Overall, your site's got great content. There's a few things that I'm seeing here that may have come from SEO. It may be part of your theme that you're using or some of the plugins. But I'm at a December events page right now, and every single link is rel no followed out. And the way that rel no follow works is that if it's an ad, you rel no follow it. That plays by Google's rules. If it's not an ad, don't rel no follow it. Yeah, I probably would, and the only reason for it is because it makes your site in the eyes of Google, and you don't have the plugin installed, but every one of your links that's on that page has this little red dotted line around it. That's a plugin I have. It's just /December.html.
You won't see the boxes. He's using a tool that does it.
But on something like that, when an engine comes in, it looks at every single one of these pages. There's no link to any external site that's followable. And one of the ways to become an expert on your topic matter or your subject matter is to recognize other experts. And when you rel no follow them, what you're telling Google effectively is, I don't trust this site, or that this is a paid ad. And I would say move away from that. Rel no follow is one of those things that people manipulated the living heck out of umpteen years ago or whatever it was, and Google slapped them all for it.
Yeah, I do have a question, because I do use all the links now, but I have a lot of sponsors in the area.
Ads you should no follow.
So I should rel no follow them, anybody who's actually a sponsor
Yeah, but not if it's an editorial-based thing. If it's an actual ad itself, then yes. But, you know, you're a nonprofit, right?
No, I'm a for-profit.
Okay, you are. I just saw the message down at the bottom.
It was probably connected to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because there's just basically we're a non-profit or something like that, but that's beside the point. Oh, no, it says for-profit. I read that incorrectly. Yeah, but I would definitely work on that. I mean, and the other thing is just, you know, keep up doing what you're doing. I mean, honestly, as far as I can tell, your traffic growth is in a very positive direction.
It's very nice. You also think about what you're writing. And this post we're on right now is all about back to school and school supplies. Incorporate those in, where to buy them, but also with your affiliate links. You can go to the store here, but you can sign up for Amazon and get your pencils, your backpack, and this. Free shipping if you're Prime, 2 days, and save money. And those are, like, as you're mentioning, the pencils, as you're mentioning, the things that they need for the classes, you could be using those as affiliate links. Okay? Yeah,
How
of
many,
course.
I'm sorry,
We
can I,
actually- if it's real quick, go for it.
how many guest blogger articles do you have? I mean, is that like a high percentage of your articles or just
That I do for other sites, or that I have.
within the site, like the guest bloggers posting on your site?
I have a team of contributors, so I have around 15 contributors.
Yeah, I'm sorry?
I have a team of contributors, so I have around 15 contributors. They don't all blog though. Some of them do, and others don't.
Okay.
So maybe you want to do follow, no index their archives and their author area. That'll help you so you don't have the duplicate content. That's just a plugin in WordPress. It's in your settings on the SEO. Go into taxonomy, and there you can do no follow, do index, or do follow, no index. Sorry. Check
Yeah,
the settings just to make sure.
My concern, I didn't look at all your authors, but check out those authors and make sure that they're not doing excessive guest blogging on other places, especially places that might be of low quality, because something like that can come back, especially if you're linking to their site with a do follow link. Always be careful who you allow to guest blog, especially if they're posting content that they might be reusing from other places, because guest blogging is a link building tactic, and people will approach you to publish their stuff.
I don't want to interrupt, but we have to move on to the next site. I'm sorry. Sorry. Thank you very much. So what do we do all day? That's your site? Awesome. What are you hoping to get from this session?
Well, I think that I don't rank as well compared to other sites that have similar content or in my niche. You know, I don't feel like my domain authority is not as good as maybe it should or could be.
So,
Does that make sense?
yeah, so you're looking for how do I start to bring in more new traffic, like my competitors would have?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. So this will be a fun one. So she wants to know how to start to diversify her content to bring in more relevant content similar to what she has so she can compete and go up against her competitors. Roger, would you like to start on this one, or Scott? If not, I can.
All right. I think. Hold on. Let me look at this again.
Okay, I'll jump in. So basically, this is super fun. Have you ever tried using ahrefs.com or BuzzSumo? This is going to be fun. So let's go to Ahrefs first. We're going to teach you how to spy on your, I'm all about the tools, especially when they're free. These ones have free options. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to take one of your competitors and we're going to pull it up and we're going to see what's being shared on social media. We could do this with retail stores as well. Okay, and basically what that I believe BuzzSumo is going to do as well is give you their top shared posts, top shared articles, and their content. You can say, okay, they're doing really well on Pinterest for this, not on Facebook for this, but on Twitter for this. And here's the article. It looks like I'm not pulling it opened. But basically what it does is it gives you a list of their posts with the social networks and how many shares are occurring across each. You could take that, then go to all of their pages and say, okay, here's their title tag. It's really long, really long, really long. I can do a short one and it'll stand out. They're also talking about these two specific products, but they don't give into detail. They don't give good information about how to use it. So what you could do is you can create better content on your site. You can also develop a more appealing type of description and title tag for the search engines that'll show up and stand out. And now you could provide a much better solution. Start by boosting it. If you go on Twitter, for example, and that's where you really want to bring some traffic in, you can advertise specifically to their audience or on those hashtags and start to take their traffic and bring it into yourself with a better piece of content. You can do the similar things on Pinterest, but you have to go off of phrases instead. And now you actually know what's driving their traffic, and you can start to mimic and take it over and do better than them and start to build with that community. You could try a cross promotion with them. If you're wondering why people are sharing and maybe it's a product, you can then see who has that product available. Suppose it's like a really cute cowboy boot or something. You could sit there and take that cowboy boot, find it at 3 different stores at 3 different price points and say, now that you know how to use this, how to style it, how to do it up and down, how to bedazzle it, whatever you want to do. I love a bedazzler. But basically what you can do from there is now you could say if you want the luxe look, you can buy it here at Saks. If you just want the boot because it's the hot trendy boot and you want it to last, well, here's Macy's where it's available. If you're a Maxxinista, I think that's what they call it, TJ Maxx has this version on sale now. And now you've also monetized, not only brought the traffic in, but done that. You can do that with cookware. You can do that with fashion. You could do that with travel. You could do that with a ton of different things. If people are sharing specific locations because they're excited to go to Montenegro or something, you can share the excursions there. You can sell visas if your traffic's like from a country that needs visas. You can use the white label from CIBT or from Visa HQ. There's a ton of things you can do, but those 2 tools will give you the ability to spy on their social sharing. SEMrush, which Scott's going to be using to look at your site, they're going to give you your big competitors in the search engines in a nice little chart. And now you know which sites to look at, and you'll get their keywords when you pull the report. So you can now start to focus on their big traffic keywords too. Now you know how to get people engaged so they come to you and start linking to you and to create the good content, and now you know which keywords to go after using those 3 tools. Each has a free available option too, so it's not going to cost you money.
How many pages do you have published on your site?
Well, I've been doing it for 7 years. I have about 1,000 different articles.
1,000 articles, okay. I mean, in all consideration, the amount of traffic that at least the tools are showing that you're getting for 2,000 pages is pretty phenomenal. You have a really, really high number of social shares, especially across a large section of your website. I mean, that's all good and positive. If you're not ranking where you think you should be for certain things, then it's probably going to be you need to start producing additional or higher end content. Your backlinks don't look extremely strong, but your traffic is really great for that. And we're talking about traffic that is coming from search engines, specifically Google organically. At least, again, external tools, directionally they're great. So, I mean, you'd have to take a peek at your actual analytics to actually, vet that out. But that being said, maybe you just need to kind of change the direction of your content so that you can apply or appeal maybe to a wider audience. I'm not sure if that's the target you're necessarily going after. But the metrics I'm seeing for a site that has, and Google's only showing you have 2,000 pages indexed. So if you've only got 1,000 pieces of content, the rest of those are going to be category pages, things like that. Do you know whether or not you rank really at all for tag pages?
I do have a couple of tag pages that rank.
Okay.
But I mean,
How many tags do you have?
I don't know.
Okay, that's something you need to get under control. Tag pages are notoriously going to be bad for your SEO unless you have very strict editorial control over them. Tag pages are just duplications of everything else.
Find me later. I'll show you how to do follow, no index those in one step. Yeah, it'll be literally one button click.
Yeah. And even doing that, I'd still get them under control. You know what I mean? So you don't have tags for kids, kiddos, kitties. It should be one tag. Things like that. But I mean, links, but I think you need probably a little stronger link profile. But I mean, that all comes with great content as well. If you're producing the content, then it makes it easier to acquire them.
I think you're in a good position to build some really high quality links because it doesn't seem like your site is very aggressive at pushing products on people. A lot of do-it-yourself, freebie type stuff, and people are loving your site for it. Like on Pinterest, seems like people just love the site to pieces, and they're sharing it, and that's good because that kind of non-commercial kind of that edge helps with the link building. So I would advise get started building links, just like an hour a day or a half hour a day, find good quality organizations, parents groups, whatever, you know, but high quality. Don't worry about domain authority or what any metric tool tells you. Judge for yourself. Is this a good quality site? Will these people be interested? Will they send me traffic? And just reach out to them and say, hi, I see you linked to whatever, or I thought you might be interested in my site. Take a look at it. It has lots of projects that parents would enjoy.
What's your
And
relationship?
you'll start collecting links. Then, once you have amassed more of those, you might want to start thinking in terms of products, because you're advertising based, right? That's how you make your money.
I do really well with affiliates. I have
Yeah.
affiliates and I do really well with them.
Yeah. Okay. So what you're going to have to do is then start focusing on products a little bit more than, because I always regard like that do-it-yourself stuff as just freebies and kind of people who won't necessarily convert to anything. And, you know, but it's good for collecting links and building authority yourself. Yeah. So you're in a really good position to capitalize for link building purposes, that you're all these do-it-yourself projects. Yeah, so you're in a good position, I think.
Just real quick, if anyone wants their sites submitted for review, feel free to bring it up while we're talking. That's more than okay. If we don't get to it during the session, then we will follow up with you after and set up a time to talk. Scott found something. We're going to break our rule a little bit, 1 second, with no more than 3 minutes, because Scott found something and I found something that you may want.
Okay, so 2 things just real quick. The first one is you're on the Blogger network. Utilize that. Post for them. You'll get links to your site.
Is that coming up in the?
Yeah, your code's still there. You also have, who's Clever Girls Collective?
That's a.
Are you still using them?
I do use them. I don't use them on the blog. That's a tag that maybe should be on.
Okay, so yeah, go to a site called builtwith.com and then to put your domain in there. It's going to give you a list of everything that is in your site that it can pull up. And if something's not supposed to be there, then don't let these people take your data.
One thing that I noticed just real fast is you're not using categories for your pages. Like if we click on Night Sky coloring page here, there's no actual categories in your URL structure. By incorporating the categories and making sure they're assigned to either book list, kids activities, parenting, you're going to be able to dissect your analytics to see what's working, what's not working. Right now you can't sort by category and grab the posts that are contributing and bringing things in and not. That's going to really help you in your analytics. But I wouldn't risk it personally. If something happens, you have to rebuild and restructure, that's when you may want to do it. You're doing well, so you don't necessarily want to break it just yet. Okay? No problem. Our next site is webhostingsecretrevealed.net.
Could I ask a question about the categories?
Yes, sir.
Hey, you said that you guys do all the kind of restructuring you're talking about, but isn't also adding categories a way of duplicating the content on a separate page with different URLs?
I'm sorry, say that one more time louder.
Aren't you falling at risk of duplicate content with a different URL? Like, you'll have the post, right, or whatever the page link is, but then you also have the categorical link. Wouldn't that technically be a duplicate content link?
It depends how you set it up. The question is, by adding in the categories, wouldn't that create duplication? If you build your site out the proper way with the right architecture, you're able to rank blog categories as opposed to tags as a main overarching category. The content within there, the code, if you set it up right, will not compete with the main pages because you're just using snippets of it within there to guide people through.
No. No.
Here, I'm gonna put this.
Yeah, no. Basically, the default way that WordPress comes out with categories is the proper way to do it.
Yeah. Because
People change it. That's the problem.
Yeah, that comes under site architecture, and it actually makes it easier for search engines to categorize that all this content is about books, all this content is about hiking, and it makes it easier for users as well to find that content, go through it, and then you only show a snippet. So that page actually would be the one that Google would want to rank for the short-term phrase, books for kids. And then you have that category page,
And then
everything you want to know about books for kids. Not 1 or 2 pages in there. And so you have it all together right there, all thematically linked together. And it's a great way to organize content.
And inside your analytics, when you go into the left and click on acquisition and then the overall, then you have all your channels. You can select your organic search, then you can select in the keywords box, you can type in the category name. Now you can have everything in that category, see what's helping, what's hurting, if it's benefiting you. Right now she's not able to do that, so that's why we had made that recommendation.
And some WordPress SEO plugins in the past, I don't know if they're still doing it. I noticed by default they no follow links to those and no index those category pages, and that's, in my opinion, a big mistake.
Okay, so we've got to move on to our next site, which is web hosting secrets, not plural, revealed.net. Okay. One of you guys is more than welcome to start first. I need some water.
Well, all right, I'm looking at web hosting secret revealed.
As well. What are you hoping to get from this session?
I would like to get suggestion on different safe things I can do to improve my current ranking. And as the site grows, I would like to know how to things I can do on site to broaden my keyword reach.
Okay, so you want to know what you could do to hopefully get the site to rank better and broaden your keyword reach.
The safe things.
Safe things to do. There's nothing safe. No.
So
Create
first,
great content.
first thing I would ask is, and I mean, I know you can scroll down to it, but I'm not seeing what value your site has upon the first page load. I mean, I see your logo, I see a couple menu items, and then I see 3 little buttons. Not really quite sure why the design was put that direction, but I'm basically going to say I don't think that's helping you. It's pushed down kind of a little bit further down, and there's really no content here to help anybody out. And then I've got to scroll down a lot before I get to your free offering. And then I got to scroll down a lot more, same type of spacing, to get to some of your guides, I guess.
Can you scroll down more, Adam?
Of course.
And then if I continue to scroll down,
Yeah.
then I find where you're monetizing. Now, not that your monetization has to be front and center, but it should be front and center. So when you get down to, like basically your ratings and everything like that, I mean, that should probably be closer to the top. I would shift everything up. I mean, you're using one of these parallax style themes. Don't. If you want it to be like this, then just set up your HTML to do that. If the design was done properly, it would probably flow a little better, but the thing is, it's not. I mean, there's a lot of space here, in between everything that I don't really think needs to be there. And on like my screen, it looks a heck of a lot different than what you're seeing it up there. It's even smaller, which means that the theme itself is not even properly sizing to my screen. That being said, that was just the first thing I noticed. You've got a lot of backlinks. And it looks like you did some really traffic growth back in like November, December of 2015. Is that correct? But then you plateaued, now you're losing it. Okay, and that's just, again, according to my external tools. And internal analytics is always going to be a lot more accurate. So I just wondered if anything happened like around May, June of this year. Okay. And your backlinks, how are you getting those? How are you acquiring your backlinks?
We are doing guest posts. We have 3 social media managers working on it. 10 to 15 guest posts per month.
Mm-hmm.
And everything else.
Okay.
The link grows organically and naturally because we have quite some content there, and people tend to links to us from forums,
Mhm.
blogs, and that naturally.
Yeah, because I mean, I see you, like, you've got a link on phpadmin.net. Was that something you paid for? Okay. Probably get rid of that. Might want to get rid of that. That one. It's a great domain, but it's just like, that looks like a paid link to me. So if it is a paid link, then be careful with those, because you're in a really, really spammy industry. It's not that your site's spammy, it's just that your competitors are, because I work with a lot of them.
We're going to move on to Roger. We get 3
Yeah,
minutes.
sorry.
Yeah, and I would also be cautious about using guest articles and guest posts for link building, because I've been seeing more and more a lot of that isn't working anyway, and in the past it has been penalized, and Matt Cutts at Google even did a whole blog post, I think 3 or 4 years ago, If you Google stick a fork in it, Matt Cutts, you'll see his article. So it's like, if it's that big where a Google engineer actually makes a blog post saying, don't do this, maybe you should be a little cautious. It's a great way to extend your reach, especially if it's a blogger who has some influence or has an audience. So I would probably feel more comfortable if you just put a no-follow on that. And then what will happen is other people, if it's a great article, will link to you and the article, and then that'll be a natural link. So that's a process I call cultivating links. So you're not going out to get the link itself, but rather cultivating the situation where somebody will naturally link to the site. Getting back to the on-page thing, can you scroll down a little bit, Adam, to that part with the presence and whatnot?
Of course.
This is what should be at the top of the page. What's at the top of the page are links to get to that way down there. So as a user experience thing, I'll say it again, always put your page together in a manner that's best for your users, because that'll help you do better conversions. It'll help you get more links, help you build popularity, get more social media shares. You just can't go wrong thinking about how a page layout affects you in terms of user experience. I call it user experience marketing. I wrote an article about it on Search Engine Journals, like 4,000 word article. And I went to go buy the domain, userexperiencemarketing.com, and that guy Philly something or other, who used to work for Google and now he's on his own, he was a search quality guy, I think, he owns it. So you have to really think about, if Googlers are buying the domain, user experience marketing, there's something to it. There really is. So I would put those boxes, can you scroll back down?
Yeah.
Front and center, and get people down to your content. Helps with your link building, helps with popularity, and it's the way to go.
So I'm going to take a slightly different approach than they did. I did see that you did get the small drop in organic traffic, at least, over the last couple months. So you may want to look at what we recommended to the other guy with your over-optimization, where you have reviews here and then lots of review after. Just let that pass through. But you're in a really interesting niche where you have people that are in the middle of a decision-making process. They're not you're not the top of the funnel. You're certainly not the bottom funnel. You're an important decision maker in their shopping in a competitive niche. So what I would recommend here, instead of just worrying about the organic, once you have that person there, try to capture email addresses and get custom codes and deals from these guys, because they have them. Okay, and then if they hit, who are some of yours? So if they hit your iPage, or if they hit your SiteGround page, for example, track where that's coming from, where the lead's coming from. Not only try to get the email, but hit a remarketing pixel with them too, okay? And now what you can do is, as they go onto Facebook, you can upload the emails to Facebook. You can upload the email addresses into Google. Now you know they're going to be shopping for this pretty darn soon. So you can take and you can start hitting them over the next 3 weeks. We know you were interested in here. Come back and check out our review. Or use this coupon, and that custom code could track back to you directly and save 20% if you shop today or tomorrow. Give them an incentive, and that's how you can start to really make some extra money off this. It's not expensive yet to do the remarketing, and it's super easy. You just have to place a bunch of pixels, which is a pain in the tuchus, but it's worth it in the long run. You can also, so let's go look at one of your actual review pages. I haven't actually clicked in yet, apologize. You have a lot, so the sharing up here, this tends to be good. I use Mouseflow to test this as well. It's great to show that you have an actual share count up here, but people don't read through and then, oh, well, let me scroll all the way back up to the top and share. So let's see if you have it again at the bottom. People are more inclined to share from the bottom, sign up for a newsletter at the bottom, and purchase from the bottom if they make it through. So no, you just have visit SiteGround, which is good that you're incorporating your links through. But you may want to actually incorporate the sharing towards the bottom. You could also, let's see wow, you guys write a lot. That's awesome. Okay, so incorporate your sharing here if you want sharing to actually happen. If people made it to the bottom, you could do that. and you don't have your newsletter sign up there, that's where you could do it too. Not ready to shop yet? Well, what questions do you have? Join our newsletter and we'll respond back. And those are all things that you can do, because remarketing back to this, it's hard as heck to bring, this is almost as competitive as porn at this point. So you want to make sure that you're making the most out of it, especially in these cheap channels, to bring them back and convert that sale. You did the work to get them there. If you do capture the email addresses, now that you know they're in hosting, so A Small Orange is a hell of a lot cheaper than some of the bigger players there, especially for business services. Now you can say, okay, you're more than likely a small business. We can market to you later on. We can send you a newsletter with like some small business tools, some entrepreneur tools, some other things that could be directly relevant to them in their size company. Now you have a way to make money off of these people for many, many years, because you have them segmented out by type of business or what they're willing to spend based on who they buy. If you're using a redirect and out after and tracking who clicks out, and then you use an after track parameter across the networks, you know who converted off of which one too, and you can tag that back into your database. So now you know for a fact this person shopped from this page for this product at this price point. Group them into here, and now you can make a, I almost swore, actually this is the first session I haven't sworn at. I'm pretty darn proud of that. You can make a crap ton of money off of that, and you have the ability to do that with what you guys have built. Use that, use this data and grow from there, then worry about your rankings later.
One other thing that Roger found, so I'll let him tell you real quick, but your cheap web hosting guide link on your homepage goes to a 404 error page with a pretty cat.
One other thing I'd like to add, I went to your blog, and it's just all kinds of, marketing related, WordPress related, blogger tips, things like that. All of that content is irrelevant to web hosting. That's the reason people are coming there, and they don't care about all that other stuff. I mean, they could be in all kinds of different things. Really, your focus should be strictly on web hosting. There's this site that's really doing blogging really well. You might have heard of them. They're called Elegant Themes. Have any of you heard of Elegant Themes? Oh my God, their blog is freaking awesome. And I get their newsletter, and it's just amazing content about WordPress plugins. They don't even talk about just themselves. They talk about other people's products too.
We have to move
Okay.
on.
So use that as a model. Look at what they're doing right, and apply that to web hosting, and you'll have an easier time conceptualizing what you need to do.
Okay, so our last site is picturekeeper.com. Whose site is this? Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Great. What are you hoping to get from the session?
I'm hoping to learn more about how to just generate more traffic to our site, and then just optimizing the content on our site for SEO.
Okay, so she's hoping to figure out how to optimize the content for SEO and then bring in more traffic. Traffic in general, specifically through search, or to make it more shareable, or what are you hoping for?
Through search,
Okay.
we have a pretty big base, like a newsletter base and everything, so it's getting more, I guess, new people to our site through search.
Okay, great. Roger, Scott, would one of you like to start? And we are down to close to the 10-minute mark, so we've got to go through real quick.
Yeah, sorry, just go ahead.
Okay, I came to the site, and it's not immediately apparent what's in it for me. Yeah. So what's in it for me is a really good way of thinking about your content, just about any content. Because when people hit the site, they're thinking, what's in it for me? And if they don't see it right away, they're going to back out. So whether you're doing, and I learned that from PPC people, and there's money riding on that. So when you're talking about organic, it's just as important. So you have to put the proposition up there, tools for back to school. What does that mean? I would be a little more specific about what benefit or advantage or better life experience or what aspiration or that you'll help somebody reach, or what life problem you'll solve, that kind of thing. What problem do you solve? That kind of thing. What's in it for me? If you put that front and center, it'll help your SEO, it'll help your link building, your traffic, and get people through the site. It'll help conversions too, I'm pretty sure.
So what is your product offering? And that's just kind of tied into what Roger was asking.
What do we offer?
Yeah.
So we have a few different types of devices that back up your photos, protect them.
Physical products, though.
Yeah, and
Okay.
then we have free apps as well that come with it, but yeah, the digital product.
Okay, that makes more sense now. Did you guys purchase this domain and then relaunch it? When did you start?
We started back in 2008.
Okay.
And did purchase this domain, but I know right now we're in the transition into Magento 2 and the whole entire website redesign.
Okay. So your traffic patterns have looked really, really spotty in the past. I mean, there was like a large gap between, say, December 2013 all the way through July 2014 where you had zero traffic, where you had traffic prior to that. And then it started spiking up, and then you've had some up and down spikes. And it looks like back in May of 2016, you guys dropped significantly organically at Google. That being said, now with what you're talking about, a redesign and everything, make sure that you talk to somebody or have somebody look at that from an SEO perspective, because if you don't, anything you already have, you're probably going to lose. Because you're moving CMSs. Which means more than likely all your URLs are going to change. All the page, the actual addresses for each of the pages that you have is going to change. If you don't redirect them properly, any equity or any links that you've got built up, which aren't a lot, but you still have some, you're going to lose all of that equity, unless it's going to your home page. Magento is great. There's nothing wrong with Magento, but make sure that you guys take SEO into account as well, because a lot of people that do Magento don't understand it from an SEO perspective, and Magento out of the box, not configured properly, will give you more nightmares than you're wanting to deal with. And if you don't deal with it ahead of time, you're going to pay for it in the end. Because it takes 5 times more effort to actually deal with it later than it will beforehand.
What I'm having trouble realizing is why I should ever buy your services when there's free things everywhere online. I'm going through your shopping process right now. There's nothing telling me why I should purchase, that it's safe, that I get a money-back guarantee. I see free shipping. But for me, this just sounds like it's an online app, because everywhere I'm going, it says download our app, download our app. And there's lots of distractions, like all of this moving stuff, that's just distracting me from actually reading your content and paying attention. I don't really know why I should buy your product. There's nothing to sell me. There's nothing to make sure I'm making a good deal. What if it breaks? What if it does there? It doesn't have anything about return. And I don't know that it's a physical product. I'm looking at picture, photo backup. For me, it's like, let's just go into the server. Now, that's just me. But consumers, you may want to make that clear. Would you like a digital version or would you like this? Here's why having it at home is better. You're in control. You own this. This is in your physical presence. If they're servers, that's out of your control. You can make a very strong sales statement and case about this. But none of that's telling me. None of it's telling me why I should pay you that money instead of using one of the options which are free and could equally be as good. You have to tell me why I should spend money and why I need a physical product in my house and why there's an app, but do I actually need that app?
And highlight the ease of your product compared to the free online backup solutions. I mean, you'd be a perfect candidate for my mom, honestly. But her coming to your site right now, she would ask me to do what this was or how to use it, and I would tell her, no, use Google, it's free.
And then you also, do you have cross-device tracking set up for your affiliates since you have an affiliate program?
Well, I just launched the affiliate program, so that's why we're kind of serious about that. So
Okay.
we do, but it's not anything that's
How is your cross-device set up to protect them? Okay, so some of the things, because you keep telling people download, 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 if they download and then shop through, the tracking's probably lost. What you may want to do is find a way, if somebody clicks from an affiliate link and the parameter's been passed into your system, can that pass as well through into the app download or into the store if they use the same email address to log in? Have them start their creating the account, like on the redirect through, and then tag your database. So now if somebody does shop through you after they've downloaded the app, because you're telling them to download before a purchase is made, if that purchase isn't made, your affiliates aren't going to get credit. So find a way to put these things together so that if the person downloads and then purchases, your affiliates still get credit and you don't lose them. That's incredibly important if you want to move into this niche, since affiliates work on a rev share basis. And this is something like I would actually be somebody that would be looking at it for my blog, adamriemer.me, because I do provide a lot of these solutions and talk about small business and blogger tools on a regular basis. I have one of your competitors, I believe, in my ebook, which I pushed out. Like, that's something I'm going to look at, and you would be eliminated, at least not given priority, because of the lack of cross-device. So that's something you should talk about. There's ShareSale here has solutions. Impact Radius, I believe, has solutions. Affiliate Window has solutions. Talk to them and say, hey, here's the thing. In our sales flow, we have a lot of app downloads. So everybody, we are at the last 5 minutes. So you can either throw stuff at us, like Rotten Tomatoes, be like, you suck, or you can give us a really nice rating if you thought we did good. But make sure you fill out the cards and hand it to the lovely people at the back of the room.
Yeah, that's actually one of the most important
We still have time for a
things.
few questions. We're just going to stop on sites. Does anybody have any?
Now's your chance.
Now's your chance. It costs a lot more to get us hourly. Yes, sir.
You mentioned the Ahrefs website.
Yes.
Are there other tools that you guys use that are free that you'd recommend we use for other places?
The question is, are there other tools? What specifically are you trying to do?
Maybe for something like mouse flow, I think there's a cost for that. Maybe some of the other tracking.
Okay. With MouseFlow, on my blog, I have a coupon code that'll give you 250 free recordings. I don't know if anything is good or as powerful as MouseFlow, but they do have a competitor, Hotjar. I looked at them very closely, but in the end, after comparing the two, I went with MouseFlow. But both are great tools that can give you good options. They both have free trials, I believe, as well, so you may want to do that. Trenton works at MouseFlow. I have no direct relationship. I just send them business, so I ended up meeting them.
Definitely not as good as mouse or eye tracking software, but Google has a free plugin that does overlay stuff that will show you what percentage of clicks go to each one of those links on the page.
Yes, sir, and then you.
I've got a bunch of retail sites online. You guys are talking about blogging. I'm stuck inside of a certain solution, Volusion, whatever, right? Shopify, things like that. So there's some limitations to those packages in terms of what I can and can't do because we blog on the same server, blah, blah, blah. Do you guys have any suggestions on how to work around their limitations to be able to maximize?
I guess my whole thing is, does that back end work perfectly for you? Because if it doesn't, then that's not the right solution for you. You need to be able to market. So we work with a lot of clients around, like, say, Sitefinity or something like that, and they've had all these expensive apps built in them. Well, you can't waste that money. We just then throw that on a subdomain for memberships and just throw WordPress on top. Your marketing is going to be one of your most important factors. If you need to be able to disconnect that from your backend because that backend works perfectly for how you run your office and you run your business, then disconnect it.
Create a list. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, if you can't bring traffic to your site, what's the point?
Create a list of everything you want to do with your site, what your goals are, what you think you want to do for the future, and then compare the different carts and solutions and open source solutions and see which ones can actually handle what your plan is before you get committed and stuck.
Right.
Roger?
We have like 3 or 4 different ones around all platforms, and they're all good and bad for different reasons, and we've committed, so it's
Yeah.
like drop the SEO value where you got it.
Well, the cart won't hold your SEO value. You can bring that over. Just hire a good
You
tech
need a-
SEO to bring you over.
Yeah, just as I spoke with PictureKeeper, if you just make sure you have a migration strategy in place. You need to map out what you've got now to what you're going to go to. Otherwise, you lose everything.
Sir?
Yeah, so earlier they said that there would be slides available of the presentations. I was wondering if y'all could put up a slide with your contact information and recommended resources.
Yes, bring your, well, we don't have a slide, and we had to turn them in weeks ago because it's a live review session. When we do presentations, we have them. If you come up here after, give whoever you want your card. We will all follow up with you, almost guaranteed, within the next week. And then just respond back, here's what I wanted, here's what my goal is.
Yeah, we're happy
Yeah.
to make sure you get
Absolutely.
that. Just
We'll give you the
unfortunately, live
tools.
stuff, they don't allow us to do slides.
Yeah. And promoting different tools up there. Someone yelled at us a long time ago saying that's too promotional. So now as it comes up, I'll say, here's the tool that I use, but it's because I use them or with him, I had an alternate to the one that I use. So I said that too. I'm not going to play bias if it's a good tool. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a suggestion for a resource or tool for the full migration when we're going to?
Yeah, it's called a person.
You got to have a person. Every situation's unique. You can't automate it.
Yeah, there's no tool that, I mean, you could run tools to get you the data, and then you still have to marry the data up together.
And
But you need a site crawler. You need a list of every single URL you have.
You need to make sure it's still indexing, it's still crossing over, everything's resolving the proper way. Just get yourself a big old bottle of wine, a big old bottle of Ativan, and be ready. And even more caffeine, just in case. Roger, anything else to throw in?
Yeah, I do. Regarding the Picture Keeper site, I like your testimonials. I like that connect all your photos with one backup tool frame there. Things that validate your site as seen on, you know, I don't know, whatever, articles you can publish on, you know, on sites that are, the people who will be using, if it's a seniors that are using it, then publish on Senior Living or whatever, and get articles posted there. Then you could say, as seen on Senior Living, and have those as validating. Because anything you can do to validate in the mind of your user that, oh, this is legit, helps your conversions.
Okay, everyone, my name's Adam Riemer. My blog is adamriemer.me. This is Scott, I'm at Rollerblader on Twitter. Scott Polk.
I'm at Scott Polk at Twitter, but my company is marketingnomads.com.
And Roger Montti.
MartiniBuster.com on Twitter, and you can look me up on Facebook, is also Martini Buster. And yeah.
He does not like to drink.
Actually, I don't drink martinis anymore.
That's still a fun name.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for coming. Please give us a good review or tell us you hate us. And have a great affiliate summit.